Hello, guys, and welcome to the episode 3 of the podcast. I'm with Mick. Unfortunately, Mark is selfishly on holiday, so he will not be taking part in this week's and I don't think next week's. But I'm pretty sure me and Mick can hold the fort while he's away. Now, obviously, the podcast, we just generally talk about what happened in the previous week with a bit of news, anything about cars, anything taxi related. Now, as you can see, I'm in the kitchen. I'm kind of hiding away because it is the summer holidays and my house is crazy. But luckily, my kids are a bit older, so I've banished them to the bedrooms where Mick has got younger kids. So just make you aware if you hear a bit of screaming and stuff, there's no child being harmed. It's just kids being crazy in the background. But we are at home and it is the summer holidays. Now, one of the big updates with the podcast, and also this was Mick's idea, I'm not going to take that away from him, is the fact that the podcast is on YouTube and then the clips are thrown on TikTok to send people to YouTube. But what Mick pointed out, which is a valid point, is a lot of taxi drivers who will listen to the podcast or any type of other driver doesn't really have YouTube on in the car while driving. So that's why it is now launched on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Music. So do us a favour, guys. Can you search for it? Just search for Driver Matty or DM Podcast on your platforms that you listen to. Give us a follow and have a few listens for us as well. Just get the ball rolling on them. And then that's it, really, the little introduction. So as per usual, we normally start off with how we getting on. So I'll start. I went out on Uber this morning because I've got no airport work. It's a bit quiet this week and last week. So I thought to go out on Uber. I had done one job. I had one job offer. It was £9 in 45 minutes. So I had a slowie in the back tyre. So I took it to the garage and he fixed that for £15. So not too bad. And then he noticed the two front tyres are baldy or barely legal. So he's put 2 new tyres on. So for today so far, I'm on minus 220 odd quid, which I didn't want to be planned. But got the car valeted, got a few things, errands ran round and stuff like that. And then today is, for me, podcast day. I've got to spend all day on the computer, editing it, chopping it up and all that jazz. So let's go to Mick. Mick, what have you got on today or what have you done before this video?
Basically, day off. So I had a few on, but I had two jobs on for today, but I wanted the day off because I haven't got one for the rest of the week. So I decided I'll do the podcast in the morning and have the day off. So yeah,
Winner.
As much as it's summer holidays, still up at 8 o'clock in the morning this morning with the kids. Blah blah blah. Just like you said, try to banish them upstairs. My oldest is 10, the other one's 5. So. And obviously we've got the 2-year-old, which he's 1-year-old. So it's a little bit of a manic morning getting ready for the podcast, but
Legend.
Apart from that, yeah, it's been pretty busy to be fair though. The last couple of days and over the weekend. Busy for me is 4 days and 4 jobs a day. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
Normally 1, 2, and I'm happy.
If no one's aware, Mick's got his own airport transfer company, and obviously he's the boss, so he's got first dibs. Myself personally, I'm the type of guy, because I'm not very flexible and I'm not a bit of a yes man, and I don't work early mornings, and there's other few criteria. I'm quite picky. So I'm like the super sub of all companies. But in my opinion, because obviously I can comment more for the public, because Mick owns his own company. For the public, it is down this year, in my opinion. So a lot of companies like Mick can cover their own work before they send it out. And same as other companies I do work for as well. They're kind of covering most of the work themselves. So there's a lot less filtering through to the pond scum like myself, the bottom feeder. So yeah, it's a bit quiet for me. I've had a few jobs booked through for the airport transfers. Some I haven't been able to do. They've been outside of Liverpool. And a couple that were too early in the morning for me to do, so I'll give them away. But yeah, so DM airport transfers is growing slightly. But I knew this year wouldn't have been DM's year. It's going to be more next year by the time the SEO and Google and all that kicks in. But yeah, I'm actually enjoying the calm. So throughout the year, I've been busy on airports, in and out, 5 p.m, 7 p.m, 4 a.m, 5 a.m. Do you know what I mean? So they're all this chaotic in and outness. Like Monday, I went out on Puba and I'd done 7 a.m. till 1 p.m. and done a 1 a.m. So that's me done for the day. And then Tuesday, I went out in the morning, got a bit lucky, got like 70 quid. And then I've done an airport, my own airport run in the car for like 70 as well. So I've done like 140 yesterday. And then went out this morning, it was diabolical. So when I got my tyres sorted and stuff like that. But I'm happy where I can just, when you're on Uber, one of the perks is you can manage your own time, can't you, really? Where the airports, you kind of scheduled, you've got to be here when this has got to be here. So it's kind of a nice reprieve. I'm enjoying it. But I do think I will pick up when the summer months kick in.
Yeah, it's like you've basically ironed it out why you're quiet. You know what I mean? Because you're not you won't change your schedule. There's plenty of people that'll probably work that way as well. To be totally honest, there's people that have their shifts and won't move off their shifts. Do you know what I mean? But for the lads, for people like us, like myself, in airport work, we want that rapport with the drivers where they'll be able to shift this, do that, move it a little bit, help out, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? And those are the lads that are probably feeling like who've built, like Mark, he's built a rapport with his company because he's, do you know what I mean? And then there's other lads out there that have built their rapport with it. We've got the same. We've got an handful of lads that we work with, and because they'll come out and they're mainly doing airport work. Mainly, it's their first port of call. They want airport shift. It's the part and parcel of the game, isn't it? And it's not a 9 to 5 job, mate. We all know that. It's definitely not a 9 to 5 job, and it'll probably bring on to one of the subjects that you've got up for us. Is you've got to shift to make it work. You've got to shift it around, and if you're happy to make that shift around being Uber to fill the gaps, like yourself, do you know what I mean? Then so be it. That's what people have got to realise. If you want to rapport with an airport company, why should we, as an airport, myself, and you'll get it when DM starts taking off, because it's you'll start feeling as well. All these lads that are shifting the times and doing whatever to help out our company, say to speak, and it'll be your company when you come to do it. Is we try and think to ourselves, well, these are helping us out all the time. These should really get looked after. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so hence
100%.
why they've got a rapport with the operator. For any, I can imagine 99% of airport companies up and over the country, not just in Liverpool, are working exactly the same way. And Mark's a proven point for that down in Sheffield. Do you know what I mean? He's got he's the lad who he gets looked after because he does get looked after. Let's be honest. What we hear of him, what we see of him, is he's got his own little handful of drivers that he works with as well. Do you know what I mean? And then anything outside of that goes to the likes of yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like you say at the bottom, waiting, give me.
Send some scraps.
It's
But yeah.
And like we say, it's not a 9 to 5 job, is it? So
no. As much as like, I've been speaking to a few of the lads and a few of the other companies this week, and they've all said they are looking down compared to last year, or it's a bit of a slower start. So like myself, the guys that get to scraps or the overflow work, I'm not getting much at the moment. But like I said, I always have said this to you and other companies, and I say I understand that. The guys that are getting up at 1 a.m, up 2 hours sleep to go and save you, to get your customer home and stuff like that, they're the guys then that should be getting the 10 a.m. easy jobs, like the outs and stuff, because they looked after you in the morning. So I understand if you're a yes man in this game, then normally you're kept busy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When outside, mate, I got it. My mate phoned me yesterday. We can take me to the airport next week, and he went, and my mate I've known all my life, and he went, oh yeah, it's 3 a.m. I went, no, no, lads, I'm not getting up at 3. I just can't do it. I've tried, Mick. Mick, do you want to mate? When I get up at 2, just say I get up at 2, I can't. I don't know what it is. My brain's weird anyway. But if I get up at 2 in the morning and then I say go and do the airport run, I can't then come home and sleep. I can't because I'm awake then. So I'll be running the full day on 3 hours sleep, and then I'll be cancelling work throughout the rest of the day. I've done it before. I've tried. I'll have an airport run at 5 p.m. I'd never make it. I'd lose work because I got up at that 3 a.m. and it ruins me for the full day. It ruins for me content and everything else. And just some people can in and out nap I just can't. Like if you woke me up at 4 in the morning, that's me done for till the following night. It's just the way my brain works. You know what I mean? And habit. Because
Yeah.
before the taxis, I've always been an office-based 9 till 5 job. Always worked days, never done nights in my life. So I just can't do it. Tried, like, but
It's the shift work, isn't it? It's the, like I say, there's plenty of people who work that way, and fair play to them. If that's the way they want to work, then that's the way it is. It's just obviously if you want to get into the airport game and really be in rapport with the company, it's very hard to come across. Right, we could go out right as an operator and say, "What hours do you work?" Okay, yeah, you do nights. All right, we'll push work today. But then when you've got lads on days who are coming out 4 a.m. of a daytime, and then you've got lads on a night who were working until 6, 7 in the morning, you've got the crossover. But then you've also got drivers that'll say, "Oh, I'll work any hours," but then next minute they won't take any days, any night work, or I'll work any hours, and next minute they're taking all they want to do is do days. You'll never get the truth out of them, of a driver of what hours they work, unless
yeah,
they're set in the way like you. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's
I literally say to companies, hey, and even you yourself as well, you'd never phone me and go, got a free half 3 in the morning, would you? Never
no,
even consider it because you don't know. I'll be well away. Do you know what I mean? But I think myself personally, going forward, if you want to get into the airports, this is me. My best advice would get in a good routine of 10 p.m. till 8 a.m.
yeah,
Especially in the summer months because that's when between the midnight and the 4 a.m. that area is the golden
yeah.
goose
No
in
one
it.
wants it.
It's the oof.
No
There's
one wants
always
it.
work. Yeah, there's always work between 12 and 4 a.m. on the airports, 100%. And it's just the time. Do you know what I mean? I speak to one of the lads, are you busy? Like, you're getting work. Another lad who gets bits. And he'd be like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, what have you done? He went, I've done a midnight at 1 a.m. and a 3 a.m. And then yesterday I'd done a 2 a.m., a 5 a.m., 4 a.m. And I'm like, oh. And then for the day, he's like, no. I'm like, oh, fair enough. Do you know what I mean?
And to be fair, and I've had to shift on mine as well. Like the Friday night into Saturday morning, I'm working from. I think I'm up at 1 a.m. and I'm working till I've even got 11 o'clock as well. Do you know what I mean? Half 10 job for
Yeah.
JLA. So because I've got a back to back at like 2 and 2 at half 2 land. Then from there I'm coming. Oh, he was a 4:40, but I couldn't take it because my half 2 land. I didn't want to chance it. But then I've got a
Yeah.
6:15. So by the time I get that half 2 out, half 3, half 4, I've got a 6:15 and then an half 10 as well. Do you know what I mean? There's a
Yeah.
gap in between, which I'll probably try and fill if any other work comes in. Do you know what I mean? But that's the type of thing where I've had to shift from me normal routine because yeah, there's a 2 o'clock takeout with a half 2 land. Do you know what I mean? My half
Yeah.
2 land was ones that paid me last week. This is the problem with airports as well. The way we work. We like to give well, that's the way we used to work. But this year we're trying it different. But I think we're going to be reverting back to it. Is if you take them out, you bring them back as well. Just to,
Yeah.
it's a
Build a
fair
rapport.
game, you know what I mean? Because everyone seems to moan about, oh, all we ever get passed out by operators is lands.
Because
But it's
all the operator owners take the outs. Easy
because
work.
all yeah. But this is where I think if you take them out, you bring them back. It's more of a fair game then. Do you know what I mean? Um, and vice versa for me. Like I took them out last week. I wouldn't really want to get up at half 2 in the morning to bring them home. Or 1 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning to bring them home. Do you know what I mean? It's just thankfully there's one there to take me out as well, and that's made me
Yeah.
shift.
Fair enough.
That's made me shift my whole shift routine. What I don't really like doing. Do you know what I mean? And that's the way airport work works. Do you know what I mean? And that's the problem. Some drivers can't do it. Most can, but there's handfuls out there that can't. Like you yourself, you know you get if you give you a job, you're reliable. You'll get the job done. Bang, boom, boom, boom. It'd be ideal to fucking have lads like yourself that work and shift work. But the, there's fair play to them. If they want to stay on the shift, they stay on the shift, and that's it.
Like you said, when there's not much work during my shift hours, I've just got to take the rough with the smooth, haven't I? That's the only thing. Like in the summer, I'll probably get some work again as it gets into the proper summer months. But for now, by the looks of it, all the scraps available is the early hour stuff, which I'm not willing to do. By the way, you swore, by the way.
Yeah.
Mark will not be happy. You
Did
dropped the
I?
F-bomb, lad. Yeah.
When?
This is going on Spotify, lad. Be professional, mate.
Did I swear? I didn't even name
Right.
myself swear.
Like, this
Oh, yeah.
is going to be a bit of... What?
No, go on.
I was going to say, this is where it's got a little bit sketchy. So I was seeing in one of the WhatsApp groups, right, an email from a customer. Now, the customers, this is an airport job, but a customer stated that they had a really, really bad experience with an Asian driver. And they've requested, can their driver not be Asian? Now, in my opinion, not all, obviously, you can't tarnish one, obviously, race or whatever with the same brush, as you all know. Do you know what I mean? There's really bad white drivers out there, do you know what I mean? That you can not request a white driver. But what I'm trying to say, it's a bit of a sketchy subject, is obviously that's obviously discrimination without a shadow of a doubt. And in that switch situation, myself personally, you just have to just go no, wouldn't you? Because obviously, even though it's a customer request, it's a very bad racial insensitive discrimination one.
Yeah.
What do you reckon of that, Mick? What?
You can't do it as much as you're going to upset a customer. At the end of the day, who are they going to go and complain to, and what are they going to tell them? Do you know what I mean? If you say no to them, well, if they don't want to use you because you said no to them, then go to the next person and let whoever does it. Good luck on them, because if they get found out, it's the end of it. It's the end of it.
Imagine that, though.
It's against the law, isn't it?
Imagine that, though, in a WhatsApp group job pop up. Job, Liverpool to Manchester Airport, 3 passengers, white only driver. How bad's that? You can't do that. You couldn't do that 20 years ago, never mind in 2024.
That's what I mean. Years ago, you probably, when more Asians started to join them, bet you there was big uproars about things. I bet you down the line somewhere someone's requested Asian driver only as well. Do you know what I mean? If vice versa.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because obviously there's been religious people that maybe only want their type of religion or their type of person with them. And yeah, but it's that same again. That's still, I'm pretty sure you can't. Can you even request a woman driver these days? But obviously, I know. Obviously, these days you don't know what you're getting. You know, the gender fluids and I'm a unicorn and stuff like that. But like, what can you specify if someone messages you and says, "Can I have a woman driver?" Same again. Is that still discrimination in it? It's genders, then, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You can't say that isn't, and then this isn't. That is. Do you know what I mean? It still fall in the discrimination act, surely, or the sexist act. Do you know what I mean? But I know companies out there have advertised for that they've got female drivers as well. So
yeah,
if you're advertising,
there's a company.
Do you know what I mean? If you're advertising for it, that means you must be able to ring up and request a lady driver. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
To be honest, there's a company in Warrington, weren't there? I can't remember what they were called, but they were a women-only taxi company in Warrington a few years back. Same again. I don't know if like.
See, that's a little bit more, isn't it? No, we don't take males on. That's a bit more stronger than just requesting a lady driver, I think, personally.
Yeah.
If you're
can I work for your company? No, you have a penis.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I think that's a bit more stronger, and you're definitely going to be discrimination act under that, aren't you? But as for, I don't know, it's a tough one, isn't it? Like you say, how can you say, oh, I don't want no Asians, but then you're allowed to say, oh, you're only allowed females on the job? It's a bit.
That's it, mate. Imagine if you Dulux colour chart as you had in drivers. That's not going to go down well, is it? Jesus. Oh, mate. Honestly, flipping sketchy, innit? Sketchy. Obviously, I don't know if you're aware or you've noticed, Mick, anyway, They are cracking down massively. There's been stops in Switch Island and Speed Guns. There's been loads on Edge Lane, and also at the airports now. As soon as you drop off the airport, they're all lined up and everything else. And what I want to know is, have you been pulled recently by one of the licensing?
No, I haven't.
No.
I don't know
Touch wood, you haven't been pulled.
No, I don't think I've. I think I've been pulled before off licensing and stuff, but I've never thingied. At the end of the day, they're just doing a job, aren't they? I know it's a pain in the ass for us because it's like you can be stopped and put off the road for the door sign. Do you know what I mean? That's what your worry is when going through these checks, or when you see them, you think, "Oh, what are they going to be scrutinising over the tiny little things?" Like yourself, you had it the other week, didn't you? Door sign. That's the worry we have. At the end of the day, if your bumper's not hanging off, or your seats aren't, you're missing a seat or a seat belt or something major, I can understand them getting the. And some of the tyres I've seen out on the roads are despicable to speak about. Do you know what I mean? I can understand that part of it, because at the end of the day, you are a public servicing vehicle. We should all be up to scratch with whatever. But if we're missing a no smoking sign, don't put us off the road for that, for Christ's sake. Do you know what I mean? Or if we're missing a door sign because it's off on the motorway or something. That's the worst part, and that's why they have drivers avoiding these places, because they've got officers putting you off the road for them things. Do you know what I mean? Like, you got away with yours, and he was going to put you. He was saying to you, has to put you off the road. Why not give you 7 days to go and just go and prove that you've had it done? If it's something so simple as a light bulb's out, or because you haven't noticed the light bulb because you've jumped in the daytime and next minute they're having you turning your lights on. Okay, yeah, we should be doing our spot checks every morning, but how many drivers do you know walk around the car before and after the shift? Come on. Do you know what I mean? If there's a little light bulb out, or
I've got a
day
slowie.
out. Yeah.
Hey, I've got a slowie this morning in my left rear tyre, and I literally went to the tyre shop. Didn't even realise, as you do, you're just cracking on with life and everything else. Went to the tyre shop, and it was a slowie, fixed it, 15 quid. I'm like, winner. And then what's got I went, "Do us a favour, mate, have a little look at my tyres for me." They know what they're looking at, you know what I mean? And it weren't like that obvious on the side. It was more towards the inside. Both front tyres needed replacing. They were barely legal at that time. So if I got pulled by licensing and I didn't have that puncher, I could have got done there 6 points for the two tyres, and he would have took me off the road. But I think you're right, though. I think there should be a little bit. If there's no door mags, just say, listen, you're not off the road, but here's 7 days to go and prove that you got your door mags, but continue working. But then if you got a baldy tyre, whoa, straight off the road, it's unsafe. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think you've got a little bit more lenient with the magnets, since we are obviously in 2024, and people know flipping heck, people know all your details before you even get anywhere near them these days. Do you know what I mean? But the big thing I wanted to talk about, there's a few more things, Mick, and we're already at 24 minutes, right? So the first one is working Uber part-time. I done a video on it last week on the YouTube and TikTok. And myself personally, our expenses are very, very front-loaded. Do you know what I mean? You got your insurance, you got everything about it. Especially if you're settling, you start the week with a big lump sum, and then you're chasing your tail by the end of the week, aren't you? So, like I say, when you're doing Uber or the general taxis, you make a lot of your money at the end of your week. At the beginning, you're covering a lot of your upfront expenses. So then when I think Uber part-time, just say you work Monday to Friday, then you got Saturday, Sunday to try and cover all your expenses, and then make a bit of profit. I've already covered what I think, so I'm just wondering, what do you think about Uber part-time? Do you reckon it's viable, or in your opinion?
No, definitely not. 14 years ago, Matty, I said to myself, I was a roofer, working on the tools, blah, blah, blah. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to get myself a taxi badge, and I'm going to work Saturday night, maybe a couple of evenings a week when I'm blah, blah. It didn't happen. First thing I done, I got myself a taxi badge and ended up full-time on the taxis. because it's not viable. You go and put all these spends, you up your insurance, you go and pay for a car, blah, blah, blah. It just wasn't viable. I thought I was making more money. If you said to me now, would you go back then 14 years and make that change? No, I wouldn't. I'd still be on the tools.
Yeah.
Frankly, because the way it's just the first few years of, don't get me wrong, I've been in the job 14 years. I can't say that I haven't liked it, because I would have made the change. Do you know what I mean? The first few years I thought it was great. Oh yeah, I'm working for myself. I can work when I want and as I want. That's the only thing that's kept me in this job, is the flexibility. And as a part-time worker working around another job, you won't have that flexibility. You've got to work these hours, you've got to work them hours. What about if you're a single man at home? Maybe it's something that you can do if you've got a car sitting out there. But then you've still got to get your MOT, your plate, your badge, your DBS. It's just not worth it. It's totally not worth it. For the money you're going to pull in, what 300 max on a Saturday night? And that's a good Saturday night. Do you know what I mean? That's probably going to pay for. That's going to pay for your plate. That's going to pay for your extra insurance. As much as people are saying that they're going to work these extra hours over the week, when you come home from the 9 to 5 jobs or whatever, to the 10-hour shifts that they've just done in the first job, they're not going to do it. They're going to come out on a Saturday afternoon and expect to earn 300-400 quid. It's just not viable to do part-time, not these days. I mean, Uber's made it a little bit easier, but you don't have to pay settle. Do you know what I mean? But that's the only saving. Yeah, that's the only saving grace, is that you wouldn't have a part-time settle to pay out as well. Back then, we didn't have commission-based when I was doing it. It was £80 a week, and that was it. He didn't even have part-time settle. Do you know what I mean? It was you do one job on our set at £80 a week. That's another thing you've got to think of. Yeah, Uber's made it a little bit easier because of the no commission, but that's the only saving grace. I wouldn't do it. I don't think it's viable. If someone can do it, then fair enough. But you've got a life. You've got a full-time job. Stay in your full-time job. Do you know what I mean? Don't be coming out Saturdays and thingies and like that. That's not me against any part-time workers out there either.
100%.
You know what I mean? It's just the fact that you've got a full-time job. What are you worried? Oh yeah, okay, you might not be making as much money, but you've got the likes of Amazon Flex out there. You've got Deliveroo's now. Go and do them. What you don't even have to worry about. Getting these extra DBS, badge, plate on your vehicle. There's plenty of part-time work that you can do out there. Don't put yourself spending money to earn money, as much as that sounds stupid, because that's you put money in to get money out. But there's plenty of other places you can get part-time work.
Well, people actually don't realise, and I actually, it was quite an interesting point I made in the video, is a lot of people go, well, my car is outside my drive anyway, so if I plate it and work, it's kind of like free in their heads. But actually, I actually done a little test. Now, as you know, all councils now report to the governments that your car is plated, so you can't get away with it not being plated. It shows up on all the checks, and even on a clean air zone checker, so they do know now. And I actually went on We Buy Any Car. Now, it's not a good representative of how much your car's worth, but just the actual difference. And I got a normal Skoda 16 plate, whatever it was, and it come up, I say, 10 grand, right? And that's what We Buy Any Car would give me. So my car on my driveway was worth 10 grand there and then. I then ticked the box and said it's been used as private hire, and it dropped to 6. So just for sticking a plate on your personal vehicle that's on your driveway, you technically lost 4 grand.
Yeah.
Like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then going forward, how much part-time work would you have to do just to cover that depreciation of sticking a plate on it? Do you know what I mean? There's just certain things that people don't even consider.
No, they won't. That's the thing, isn't it? They won't consider that, because they'll think, oh, we're going to keep this car till it runs to the ground anyway, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
They're not going to be worried or even bothered about thinking about that. But that is something you have got to consider. At the end of the day, if you wanted to sell the car, Why not go and sell the car for part-time money? Do you know what I mean? Okay, maybe they need the car for work, blah, blah, blah. They're going to run it to the ground. You're not going to make enough money regardless. Without
Yeah.
even thinking about your cost and your expenses, it's not worth your time to come out and part-time work. Do you know what I mean? If you come out on a
Yeah.
Saturday night, good Saturday night, you're giving away whatever you might have on. If you're a Monday to Friday worker, you're obviously you might need more money for whatever reason or what financial situation you might be in. But it's just not worth your time at the end of the day. You go out on a Saturday night, you give your whole Saturday away. Yeah, okay, I've said you can make a good 300 quid on a Saturday night, but that's on a good day. Most Saturdays, that's when something's on. There's something big been
250.
on, do you know what I mean? You're doing
Yeah.
200 tops, mate, even 250s is a stretch. But then you work it out, you've just worked 10, 12 hours for that. Because that's what you'd have to do for it. Do you know what I mean? It's not part-time hours as well. You're not coming out to do 8 hours to do 3 ton. It's not happening. It's 12 hours. And then you just take your diesel off it, your time out of it. What, for an extra 100 quid a week?
It's mad, isn't it? It is mad.
It's not worth it, honestly. And 9 times out of 10, if you're a family man, you're having the weekend off from your first job to spend
Yeah.
with your family. Do you know what I mean?
But there's other stuff. There's other stuff you can do. That's what I don't understand. There's so much stuff you could do with your vehicle that doesn't cost it depreciation or the upfront costs of getting a badge or getting it plated. Do you know what I mean? If I was working full time and I need to top up my money, I'd go and deliver pizzas or Amazon Flex or Uber Eats, where it's
Go
still got
puff,
the flexibility. But
go puff,
oh,
go
Go
puff,
Puff! Remember Go Puff?
go puff.
Is
£10
that still
an hour.
going? Go
Hey, yeah,
Puff?
yeah. It's huge that
Stop
now,
it.
you know. £10 an hour, regardless of how many deliveries. Go and get yourself a bike and jump on Go Puff. There you go. You're getting
Mate,
paid £10 an hour.
remember I worked Go Puff? That was funny, that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Oh, mate,
still
remember Go
going, mate.
Puff?
Still going.
No way.
We order at least 4 or 5 times a week from Go Puff. It's the same as going to the supermarket.
No way. No way. I can't believe Go Puff's going. Still going.
11 o'clock last night. I ordered strawberries, grapes, bananas, and yogurt, and I had the fruit salad with yogurt on at 11 o'clock last night. All thanks to Go Puff.
By the way, not even sponsored. It's just literally a good shout out for a good company. Hey, terrible name, by the way. Terrible name. 2024,
No, but
guys. Come on.
but they're the type of companies that's out there that you can go and you go and grab a 6-hour shift off them, guaranteed 60 quid. Bonuses
Yeah.
if you get tips and you whatever. Get yourself on a bike. Away you go, and you've got no expense either. Then
But even
you know
if,
what I
like I
mean?
said, even if you use your car, you're not getting a car specially plated. You're not getting it specially insured. You're not getting it flipping the depreciation that the taxi. You know what I mean? It's mad. Absolutely mad. But listen, talking about taxis, we've got one more point that I wanted to bring up. I don't know if you've seen it, but it was literally only circulating yesterday or the day before on Taxi Point's website. And it was a Prius working in Harlow, which is in Essex, outside of London, right? It had a Harlow operator's magnets on, but it also had a TfL signage on, that it was a TfL licensed vehicle, and a Wolverhampton plate on the rear of the license plate. And if I remember, I'll throw the picture up on the screen so you can see it. But, like, seriously, I know there's cars that are dual licensed, especially like from settled companies. You'll take off one plate, put on another for a different vehicle. I don't know, that's possibly legal. But to have two, imagine having your bus plated for Liverpool and Sefton side by side, driving down the road working.
That's
Like,
just stupid, ridiculous greed, isn't it?
I don't, yeah, but why is it greedy though? Because I'm pretty sure you could work for whoever anyway.
Yeah, but
Or
at
is it,
the end of the day, why have you gone and... I don't know. I blame the council at the end of the day for that. They shouldn't be allowing it, should they?
no. No, I'm pretty sure when you sign up with Liverpool and stuff, there's a big questionnaire to say like, is it licensed with any other vehicle or whatever. Do you know what I mean? There's loads of little bloody hell Liverpool at the moment to get a renewal. It's like a 45-minute questionnaire and everything.
If he lives in Wolves and he goes to London to work, why just what?
No, he definitely won't be going from Wolverhampton to London.
Well, he's got Wolves in the TFL. So what is it? He lives in London and going to Wolves. That doesn't make any more sense, does it?
No, but don't forget, even though you can't work Uber on a Wolves badge down there, if a local company like that Harlow operator that he had the signage for, that could have been that they could have a Wolverhampton operator's license. So that's why his Wolves plated in Harlow working for that company. But then when he goes to London, he might have to be TFL licensed to work a different company in London. I don't know. But whatever, it was highly illegal and just didn't make any sense. Do you know what I mean?
But like I say, you got to blame the councils. Surely, like, is it illegal? Because they're allowed, like you say, I'm sure they allow dual plating up here for the like settle companies to accommodate the drivers that are in it, so they can just.
You can't have dual plates on show.
No, obviously not on show. They shouldn't.
He had the TFL sticker in the window and the Wolverhampton plate on the car, so he had both on show.
I don't get it. I don't understand the logic behind it. Like you say, if he lives in London and he's going to Wolves, that makes no sense at all. But Wolves going to London, you'd probably say yeah, because they come here at the end of the day, don't they? They come to Liverpool.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of London companies now that actually have a Wolverhampton operator license. I'm pretty sure, because you can't work Uber and stuff. But people might let us know in the comments. But I'm pretty sure, mate, there's London companies now, say like Holler Taxis, but in London, like a local private hire company, who have Wolverhampton operator license, so they can get Wolverhampton drivers working. But I just don't think it's within London's boundary, because I think the TFL controls everything within London, don't they? But
I'm just about to say and thought about it is, why is it that London's protected by TFL, but then the likes of us, Birmingham, Sheffield, Leeds are all happy for them to come into our cities, but they can't go into London?
I don't know. That's what I mean. But I think Labour, they brought it up in Parliament. I don't know if I mentioned it last week. They brought it up in Parliament that they're going to bring it up, because the Harlow Labour guy who actually was in Harlow and mentioned that the amount of out-of-town drivers, because one of the lads messaged me today on YouTube, and he said in his local area, can't remember where, they actually have to, it's expensive to get licensed, they've got a knowledge test, this is private hire, and also they take them for a driving test to make sure that they're a good driver. And also I think like English and like basic English and all stuff like that as well. You got to go through all that to get the local license for that council. And then Thingy comes in his Wolverhampton car, working the same as the guy who's just gone through all that. And that's where I think why it sparked a discussion in Parliament, because of that scenario.
That's true, though, isn't it? It's only just sprung to me now, after how long have we been like thinking and talking about it, is the fact that London's protected by TFL. We can't go into London, but every other city, it's fine. You can do whatever you want.
We know.
So
you know what London's like, though, mate, isn't it? Hey.
What?
You know what London's like? London, nothing's outside of London, is it?
No. But at the end of the day, that if it hits a good thing for the discussion in Parliament, then they've got to do something about it. If they can say TFL's protected, but all the other cities are running around rioting, doing whatever, they've got to do something about it, haven't they? Surely.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. But also, what can they do? Because obviously, it's a bit. You can't send the 15,000 Wolverhampton plated drivers out the northwest, the 10,000 Sefton drivers out of Manchester, and the 5,000 Knowsley drivers out of Manchester back to where they come from. Because if they'd done that, then we'd have an extra 15,000 drivers overnight, because they're all Mancs who live and breathe in Manchester, but they're licensed with Liverpool local councils, like Knowsley and Sefton, because it was quicker. Knowsley and Sefton, we're the same as Wolverhampton, just not on that scale. Do you know what I mean?
The talks with, see, this is another thing as well. Like I've said it back on other episodes as well, is that the damage is done now. I don't think there's any recovering from it. Okay, they could, maybe in 12 months they might be able to thingy, but then I don't know, they might be able to revive it somehow, because they're going to have to give time. Because the only way they'll change it is by going, like, if you live in that area, that's your council, that's who you've got to be plated by. But they're going to have to give time for people to change them and readjust to that. So they're going to at least give 6 months or 12 months for lads to be able to change. Because there's, like you say, people who have gone into Delta and Alpha, they've been sent down to Wolves to get a Wolves plate, and they live in Liverpool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense at all, regardless how long that council takes. That's your council. You go to that council. Do you know what I mean?
The only thing I could say is either A, like you said, they've got to return to the council where they got license and then come back and reapply in their local license, but give them like a loop period, like a 12-month period, whatever. Or the UK government's got to come out and say, right, this is the basic criteria of all councils have got to abide by now. The local area they live in, knowledge test. Do you know what I mean? The same English and maths tests, basic. Do you know what I mean? And like maybe a driving test or whatever, and just do like a generic law that all councils have to abide by. So if you're a Wolverhampton licensed driver now in Liverpool, you just got to go and make sure you get all those tests done, and then you can carry on working as you do now. Do you know what I mean? But at least then everyone has been treated the same, with the same test, the same price, the same training and everything else then. So at least then all the same quality of drivers are on the streets. But I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go.
It's going to be too, I think that would be too hard to police and put out. You could do it with immediate effect from new applicants. That's easy. Do you know what I mean? Every council has to abide by this test and do this test. You can do that, but that doesn't solve any problem. That sounds like something that the government will do, to be fair. Oh yeah, we've done this and that, and do you know what I mean? There we go. We've done it. We've acted on it. Blah blah blah. Job done. But that won't solve any problem, because the amount of people that are already here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just I can't. I don't think it'll get fixed, especially what people want.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't want cross-border hire come into place, because if you think about it, Mick, if you got one of your customers now, your local customers, he's been with you for 14 years, right? And he phones up and goes, Mick, just landed at Manchester Airport. Can you take me home, mate, to Kirby? Mick goes, sorry, mate, that's Knowsley. I'll have to get you to Manchester on a Knowsley drive. I can't take you. Even though it's 5 minutes down the road, I can't take you because I'm licensed with Liverpool, mate. It's never going to work. Do you know what I mean?
No.
It's that like the proper taxi hackney rule of leaving your local border and returning. That's never going to work, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? But the main problem is not airport work or general local taxis. It's the big app-based companies. That's the issue. If they just squashed it down, do you know what I mean? And just give everyone
companies, that's what they need to put a rule in, really. But then, like, it's going round in circles again, aren't we? If they put a rule in place that you need to, if you're licensed for this council, you need to work that area, that council's area, or whatever the weather. It's not going to work, because they've already done the damage. They've already let it loose. Do you know what I mean?
Unless they do it within where you live. So if your details are in, say, Anfield, you've got a 30-mile radius around Anfield that you can work. When you leave that radius, the app automatically sets your destination back home. So if you get a job from Anfield and then you go to Birmingham, your app will go set destination to home, and then you just stay online and just take jobs going back home. So you got that perk of getting the return jobs. But what it means is if there's a big event on in Birmingham, you can't drive down and stay and work there. As soon as you go outside your 30-mile radius from your house, then maybe then the app automatically sends you back. So you keep the perks of the cross-border like type of flexibility where you get those retained jobs and the dead miles, but you can't physically drive into another area to work. Do you get me? Or something like that. There's got to be something that the Uber and the big app companies can do, surely.
Yeah, but no, but what you've got to try and think of is making it combine with what the government can do to force these companies to do that, because the companies aren't going to do it off the bat.
They don't care, do they? They get the work of it.
You need something in place from the government that's going to force them in to do that. What is the? I don't think there's any type of rule or anything like that that they can.
Going Home Act 2024 coming into the council soon. As soon as you leave your district, the Going Home Act will send you back.
I don't know. I honestly don't think. I think the damage is done now, and that's pretty much it. We've got to live with it.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'll be honest, Mick. I've talked as much. I don't think I've ever talked as much in my life. This is a 46 minutes, mate, and I don't really talk. I'm not a talker, mate. I like to like a little WhatsApp or like a 30-second voice note, and do you know what I mean? This has been a long talk. Do you know what I mean?
Podcasts for you, mate.
What?
Podcasts for you? That's what we're here for.
Hey, do you know what though, mate? Overall, though, mate, to be honest, I'm loving it. I'm getting loads of content from it, from the one video. Do you know what I mean? And as soon as I start building up a follow base, hopefully then people start listening on like Spotify and stuff like that, and like Apple Music and Amazon Music and stuff, and then watching on YouTube and stuff like that. And then as soon as I start getting the odd special guest in, to be honest, I haven't even started. But I might try and get the odd little special guest in as well to appear. But then obviously trying to keep us on like a Wednesday going forward, just like a bit of a routine for the Wednesdays. But obviously we can film it anytime. But like get it live on a Wednesday at 5 p.m, the new episodes, and then the specials can just come in and fit around them with me on a Friday or a Saturday or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you know why I think it's like Spotify for you? It's more of because of the podcast market and the people who like podcasts are on them type of platforms. Do you know what I mean? So it's better for you to be on them when you podcast them. I don't get me wrong, I listen to YouTube. I just put the audio on and forget about the video and just listen to YouTube with mine. Do you know what I mean? But most podcast viewers and market is on the likes of Spotify and blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe you could even look at where you're at now is plenty. Do you know what I mean? But there is other apps and everything out there that have podcasts on and what podcast viewers will be using. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I said, I think going forward, I'll just stick to the big names for now. And then what I do is, once this is up, I edit the video, add all the little bits and bobs to it, and then I upload it to YouTube, and then upload it to Spotify, and then Spotify pushes it out to the others, which is pretty cool. And then I go back to the original video, chop it all up, and then put it out on like your TikTok, or I've started posting the TikTok videos on Instagram now as well, and the odd YouTube short as well. But it's just Wednesdays now has become my busiest day for on the lappy and stuff. It's crap, man. It's crap, and I don't even get paid for it. It's a flipping joke. But listen, Mick, as again, you're a legend. Hopefully we soloed it without Sheffield legend Mark, but he'll be back in a couple of weeks. We was going to replace him, we thought, what's the point? Me and you hold the fort down for a couple of weeks, and then we'll get Mark back. Because he's got a good insight from a different part of the country and different, do you know what I mean? So, but yeah. So, is anything else to add, Mick? Are you happy to leave it as that, kid?
No, good, yeah. That's all good.
Yeah, sounds. Well, I'll end the recording now, and I'll speak to you in 2 seconds. Nice one. As per usual, guys, thanks for watching. Do us a favour, subscribe to the YouTube, follow on TikTok, follow on Spotify or other Amazon Music and everything else. Just give us a follow, give us a like, give us a share. It all helps, guys. Also, what I wanted to add, and near the end, you can support the channel, the YouTube channel, by becoming a member. Now, they call themselves Matty's Minions, and one of the perks is you get in the WhatsApp group where we all chat and talk and stuff like that. If you want to join that, go on YouTube, click the join link below it. A couple of quid a month, and then it gets you into the WhatsApp group where we all have a laugh and just share stuff and everything else. Well, listen, thanks very much for watching, guys. It's been a pleasure. Mick, I'll talk to you in about 5 seconds. See you soon.